from Click Region, and today we're going to go through some cybersecurity tips, and hopefully this is going to be the not boring version. So to start with, cybersecurity is about protecting systems, networks and data from digital attacks. Today, businesses, government agencies and individuals, we all rely on technology, from everything from communication to storing important information. And as technology advances, so do the methods that hackers use to steal this information, that cause disruptions or demand ransoms. So this is why cybersecurity has become so important. And without proper defences, absolutely anybody is vulnerable to these attacks. So today we're going to talk about a set of strategies called the Essential 8. So we didn't come up with these. These are very readily available online. And this helps organisations and individuals strengthen their security. These are simple but powerful steps that can reduce the chances of a cyber attack or minimise the damage if one does happen. So whether you're running a business or you're just using your computer at home, understanding these Essential 8 can help you protect your data and privacy from online threats. So of course, we're concerned about our own online presence and in turn our security, but anyone who collects data, like if you're a business that stores people's credit cards or their email addresses or home addresses, anything like that, you must also be vigilant with data security and you have a duty of care to keep that safe as well. So let's talk about the Essential 8. So the Essential 8 is a set of cybersecurity strategies designed by the Australian Cybersecurity Centre, ACSC, so you can Google that if you'd like, to help organisations protect themselves from cyber threats. It focuses on making systems more resilient against common cyber attacks, such as ransomware or hacking. So we'll go through it now and hopefully simplify it. So the first one of the Essential 8 that we can do is called application whitelisting. So what is this? So think of this as a bouncer at a nightclub who only lets in specific people, or in this case, programs. So why do we do this? This helps prevent unauthorized programs like malware from running on your devices. And as an example, if your computer only allows known programs like Word or Chrome to run, anything else is blocked on your behalf. So number 2 of the 8 would be patch applications. So what is this? Patching is like fixing holes in a fence. So applications such as your web browser or Office software often have security gaps as they're updated and become bigger and faster and stronger, that hackers can exploit these gaps. So why? Regularly updating your software closes those security gaps, making it harder for attackers to break in. So as an example, if a security flaw is found in Adobe Reader, a patch is released to fix it, and this is something that you should look to be installing. So configuring Microsoft Office macro settings is another of the Essential 8. So what is this? So macros are small programs that can automate tasks in Microsoft Office, like Word or Excel or anything like that. But they can also be used by hackers to infect your system. So why? Configuring or disabling these macros reduces the chance of hackers sneaking malware into any of your documents. And as an example, disabling macros by default unless you specifically trust a document. So if any of this doesn't make sense to you, you can reach out to Click Region and we can be some of assistance. So user application hardening would be number 4. So what is this? Hardening means making software tougher to crack. So it involves turning off features in apps that aren't necessary and they could in turn be risky. So by removing unnecessary features, you reduce the ways hackers can attack you. So as an example, disabling Java in your web browser, if it's not needed, you can disable it, as this can be used by hackers. Number 5, restricting administrative privileges. So what is this? This means limiting who can do certain powerful tasks on a system, like installing software or changing settings. So if everyone can access these functions, it's easier for malware or hackers to take over your systems. So not necessarily that your attack or hack is going to come from the inside of your company, as in an employee that potentially you've given these passwords to or privileges, if they're using it on their computer and they don't have appropriate stop gaps for this sort of stuff, then potentially they're at risk. So as an example, if only the IT team has admin rights and all of the other users can't install programs, it's a good way of getting around it. Number 6 would be patch operating systems. So what is it? Just like patching applications, which was the one about fixing the fence earlier, your operating system, so your Windows or your Mac OS, needs updates to fix vulnerabilities. So hackers often exploit outdated operating systems in order to get to your system. So as an example, installing the latest Windows security updates ensure that you're protected from the latest threats, and these can be found on their website. Number 7, multi-factor authentication, or MFA. What is this? This is like having 2 locks on your door. So it requires 2 forms of verification before you can access something. So even if someone steals your password, they would still need a second form of ID. So this is when you get like a number sent to your phone that then you have to put into a program, and like an authenticator program. It just is another step that makes it a little bit harder to break in. So as an example, logging into your email with a password and also getting the code from an app on your phone. And number 8 is daily backups. So what is this? As it sounds, it's backups of copies of your data stored in a separate place. So if your system does get hacked or infected with ransomware, you can restore your data from the backup that is external to this. So example, automatically backing up your documents to a cloud service like Google every day ensures that you have duplicate copies of this. So why do these strategies matter? So the essential 8 strategies help prevent attacks or reduce the impact if something does go wrong. So by implementing these, if you can do one, if you do all 8, great. But if you can do one, that's the step in the right direction. Organisations or personnel can significantly lower their risk of being hacked. So even though it may seem like a lot, the goal is to be making it harder and harder for these attackers at each step to protect your data and your systems. So could you spot a scam? So top tips for avoiding scams. First one, and the most important one I think, is just stop. Take time before giving money or personal information to anyone. So a lot of these things, if we speak to a lot of people about this sort of stuff, when they got scammed, usually they were in a rush. So scammers will offer to help you to identify parts of who you are. So they'll have a little bit of information on you, but they'll ask you to identify the rest. So they will pretend to be from organisations you know and trust, like banks or government agencies, even police. So potentially they put that fear factor in you. So first of all, if you do get a call or an email or anything, a text message like this, just think to yourself, could this message or call be a fake? Does it make sense what they're saying? So never click a link in a message. You can reach out to family members and friends. And also hackers will try and rush this process because they know that people make mistakes when they feel like they have to have done this yesterday and that there's a timeline to all of this. So only contact businesses or government using contact information from their official website. So nothing through email or text or anything like that, or even through, like, you can go into their secure apps and contact them from there. If you're not sure at any point, say no, hang up, delete, and follow the steps about going onto their official website or app. So if something does feel a little bit wrong, and you think that potentially you have clicked on something or done something or said something that perhaps you shouldn't have, you contact your bank immediately. So if you notice any unusual activity on your cards or accounts, you can seek help from organisations like ID Care and report online crime to Report Cyber. You can also help others by reporting it to ScamWatch if you feel that strongly about it. So investment scams are another scam. So chances are, if it sounds too good to be true, it maybe is. So watch out for investment scams. So they usually involve promises of big payouts, quick money, guaranteed returns, low risk or no risk. Always be suspicious of any opportunities that offer a high return with little to no risk. As a fact, Australians lose more money to investment scams than any other country. So they absolutely can be hard to spot, these scams. So they put a lot of effort, scammers put a lot of effort into creating really convincing stories and making really professional websites and promotional materials and all that sort of stuff. So before investing, always seek independent legal or financial advice from a financial advisor who is registered with the Australian Securities and Investments Commission. So before handing over any amount of money, always just do your research, your homework, and a bit of due diligence. So some of the most common ways investment scams work include contacting you via email or phone with a special opportunity and get in fast for a guaranteed return. Another one is using fake celebrity endorsements to make a scam seem more legitimate. Convincing you to access your superannuation early or potentially as a lump sum. Investment seminars are another way, so often online via Zoom or Teams, that are free of charge, or potentially they could also charge really, really high attendance fees. So you look out for those too. Share promotions and hot tips. So scammers may contact you by email, social media, or post a message in a forum to encourage you to buy shares in a company they predict is about to increase in value. The message will look and feel a bit like an insider tip and will usually stress that you need to act quickly. The scammer is trying to get you to buy shares to boost the price of a stock so they can sell the shares they've already bought and make a big profit. So usually then the share value goes down dramatically. So another one just to keep out for. And as we mentioned before, celebrity endorsement scams. So scammers use the image, name, personal characteristics, and now with AI, it looks like the celebrity is endorsing it and talking about it. They will use it of well-known celebrities, obviously without their permission, to entice you into investing, as it's being backed by someone that you feel like you know and trust. So these scams often appear as online advertisements maybe, or promotional stories on social media. They seem legitimate and they seem trustworthy, but again, always go and do your due diligence about whatever product they're endorsing. Passwords are another part to cybersecurity, obviously. So we all get told time and time again not to use passwords like our birthdays or the word password or 1 2 3 4 5 6 or anything like that. And passwords can be really hard to remember, especially when you've got to have different passwords for everything, and they all need a character and a certain amount of numbers and a certain amount of capitals. So a little tip, instead of using a password like some very long convoluted thing with lots of capitals and letters and numbers and symbols, think about a song or a poem or something that you love the lyrics to, and you can make a password out of that. So as an example, you can't always get what you want, would create the password YCAGWYW. So that's just a little way that you can have a trickier password but remember it. So remember, always be careful and vigilant online. Always look to upskill and learn in this space. And please don't be frightened, just be vigilant.